Hey, this is Stephanie with The Awakened Business, and this is the first video I've made since my 2-month visit to Colorado. And for some reason, I feel like the first video for The Awakened Business anyway, I feel a little nervous about it somehow. I'm not sure why. And I wanted to talk to you and share with you about the conversations you could be having that you might be missing out on. So while I was in Colorado, I was minding my brother's Airbnb. And if you're not familiar with Airbnb, it's an arrangement whereby people can come and stay in your home. They essentially rent a room for a period of time, and you act as a B&B. So in this case, I didn't provide breakfast for them, but I did clean the rooms and act as a host and show them around and generally be entertaining as much as I could and helpful. So I had the chance to meet with all kinds of people who I probably never would have met otherwise. Some people there were young people who were going on hikes in the beautiful Colorado mountains. There were couples who were there celebrating, I think there was somebody celebrating a 20th wedding anniversary. I met retired folks who were traveling the world and staying in Airbnb as a way to save a little money. And it could have been just two ships passing the night, hey, here's your room, see you later. But in some cases, people really were open to engaging with me. And when I was open to that, I would have these really interesting conversations. And so it was also during this time that I was sort of on hiatus from my 100 Conversations Challenge, but I was still having these powerful conversations with people. So someone might be staying with me, essentially living with me for a couple of nights, and we'd sit down or stand and start talking. And there were a few things that I could do to very rapidly create a very deep and meaningful conversation with someone. And you might try this for yourself if you're into that kind of thing. And one was to be curious and to ask questions about their experience and to really listen, and not just listen to their answers, but listen to what's behind the answers that they give, behind the words that they say. Because people are always telling us things that they want to share, but they're afraid to share. And they're just hoping that somebody notices enough to ask that question. So be curious and ask that follow-up question and really, really listen. And don't be afraid to go places that could be uncomfortable for some people. There's a great way to do it is just to ask them, to say, hey, I'm really curious about this. Is it okay if I ask about fill in the blank? You mentioned that your wife doesn't like this idea. What's that about? Could you tell me more about it? I'm kind of curious. Which could be a sensitive topic, and they're free to shut it down anytime that they want. But a lot of times if they mention it in the first place, it means that they were kind of wanting to talk about it. So I had some great conversations this way, and even made a few connections that extended outside that brief Airbnb visit. It was really rewarding. And so it makes me think about the interactions that we have every day that we're missing out on, that could be deeper if we'd like them to be. So my question for you is, what invitations to have a deep connection in your life are happening right now that you might be missing? What are you missing out on? And just notice that. Notice what happens in the next few days, and you might just engage. You might accept that invitation. And if you do, or if you've had an experience like this, be sure to let me know. Leave a comment, drop me a line.